Welcome back to the Northern Lights Rewind, and today it's just gonna be guys being dudes.
Ew, I hated that.
Because we
Ew.
got Brian, we got Cesar, we got Styles, and we're talking about the first week of Survivor 3 Island of Secrets. Thank you all for being here.
I'm excited. I hope I don't get dragged.
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be in your presence.
Oh, well, thank you.
I get to debut my mustache on the podcast. Oh my god, how
Well,
fun.
it is our Brian. Isn't this your first podcast, Brian?
Yeah, I was terrified of doing it last season,
Wait,
and I'm still terrified of doing it.
It's a
Brian, you have something going on down here. That's not just a stash.
Um, yeah, it grows bad, so we don't really look at that.
um we have a lot to talk about because we have three tribes who were going into a tribe swap, but we're going to stop before we get to that tribe swap. So, starting off with the cast as a whole. Styles, I'll start with you. Who were you really excited for coming into the season?
I was excited for a lot of people because there's a lot of people that I sent the invite out to, and there's a lot of people that gave me some promise with the preseason. Tawana's one of them. Courtney's definitely one of them. I'm always excited to see someone like Trey, who's been around since like the BBTG community since day one. So it's always interesting to see how that person's evolved because I haven't seen him play in years, and any of those players are always good. But there's a lot of good social players on the cast, to be honest. And it was kind of to see these people interact that like I know and they don't know each other is kind of cool. So
Cesar, what about you? Early favorites coming in.
Early favorites coming in. I have Trey only because I know how he can play, and I think it'd be kind of cool to see him kind of maybe run the show, but we'll see. I don't know. I think Camille too, only because I know what a snake he is, and he can get pretty far. He can convince people to do what he wants as well, and he doesn't play often, so it's good to see him. Um, Other than that, I guess. I mean, I'm excited for everybody, but those two stand out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that I've played with from this cast are Jensen and Sean, I think. Maybe I played with Ash. There's a lot of like question marks on this cast, which I found really exciting because we had people from all kinds of different, sides of the community or even outside of the community. Brian, what about you? Who were you like? I am so excited for this person to be on my season.
I feel like this is an obvious answer for me, but Virgo. Virgo was my first recruit. She was the second application. Love her. Think she's gonna do fucking phenomenal. Zay was a really awesome application and then lovely interaction when I first met Zay. Aaliyah, who I kind of cornered into playing, and then I feel like Marcus is like a Northern Lights staple at this point. I love Marcus. I think Marcus delivers, so I'm excited for Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus and Jensen have both played a lot of Northern Lights.
I forgot to say Taylor Ryan's also someone I wanted to watch. Um, yeah.
So I think we can just kind of like discuss each tribe and the gameplay going on and the players, and just kind of go from there. So let's start out with the tribe that probably had the least going on in this first week, which is Hanu. This tribe has Haley, Marcus, Amanda, Zay, Adib, Ashtray, and Jacob. So Styles, why don't you give us just like the little rundown of what was going on this tribe for the first week?
so from what I saw, it was a little
Mm.
kumbaya, and there was a reason it was kumbayas because Amanda, who I actually think had a lot of potential, by the way, and when they were around, were actually really cool to like kind of hear their thoughts and see them interact. Like Adib was close with Amanda, but Amanda being so inactive just made everything so easy because it's basically like the preseason extended because we're going to tribal and Amanda's going home, so like we don't have to push each other's names. Amanda goes home, and then obviously we're going into Friday night with the tribal council being expected. There's a little bit more gameplay that takes place where Marcus is mostly on the outs. Adib could have maybe been the secondary option, but Marcus was definitely going to be targeted. What was probably the most interesting dynamic, I would say, was just the paranoia that Trey and Ash had for a couple days at one point in the game.
For no reason.
I know for not there's not any reason. Like there's like it feels weird. Like it's the feeling that they got, and so they kind of contemplated doing crazy things. There wasn't necessarily any particular names thrown around. Trey was super suspicious of Zay. So
And
was
Marcus.
Ash, and then Marcus as well. Yep. The main power structure, however, definitely was Jacob, Trey, and Ash. Those three, and then they kind of were working with Adib and Zay as well.
So yeah, Styles said, Adib could have been in trouble. I don't think Adib was going anywhere because of the fact that Trey. Okay, we can say the trio. Okay, Trey, Ash, and Jacob. Ultimately, Trey's the one running it. And he wasn't gonna let Adib go anywhere, so he was not in trouble at all, in my opinion. I think one thing that I do not like is, and I mean, you can't really blame them, but I do think that they don't trust Marcus because he doesn't speak, doesn't talk as much. But Marcus is loyal. All right. All they gotta do is get him to talk, and then he'll talk to you. But I guess according to them, because he doesn't talk, they don't trust him, and it puts Marcus in a rough spot where I do think he would have been the one out had they
I
lost.
do
For
want to
sure.
give Adib some individual credit though, because I think even without Trey, Adib was the number one ranked for that tribe for our first cycle rankings. Adib was number one, so outside of just the Trey connection and whatnot, Adib was doing work on his own, and he was doing a fantastic job.
Brian, who would you single out as like the people who are playing the best game on Hanu?
Oh, please, I have a screaming niece.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Right.
So Brian said you have to give Adib credit because he was ranked number one. You also got to take into consideration the tribe, right? So we already have Haley, Jacob, and Marcus who do have Adib's back or whatever. Those three already of them ranking Adib pretty high, right? So if they already have the people that they want to target, they're gonna rank him low, and that's already pretty much whoever they want. So obviously Adib is gonna be up there.
I
So
feel like he
sorry.
had the best relationship with the people on the outs.
You can re-ask again. I am so sorry.
um. So Brian, who would you single out as the people who were playing the best game on Hanu?
On Hanu, I would say Trey insulated himself very well. I want to give a lot of credit to Jacob. Jacob's first game ever, not just in this community, Jacob's first game ever, and he did a fantastic job at kind of finding his core people almost immediately, setting up a group, sticking with them, and then still kind of looking for those outside relationships just to make sure he was insulated. So Jacob was a standout for me as well.
Styles, what about you?
I think, obviously, I was saying Adib was a backup target just simply based off that he would show up like once, maybe twice a day. But when he'd show up, he'd play an amazing, amazing social game and had great connections with people. And I think he had the best relationship with people like Zay, people like Marcus had him ranked really high and stuff like that. He really trusts Trey, which I think is definitely a blind spot for him because he's obviously not aware of Trey's either his previous connections or the obvious power structure that's in play. I know everyone's like Trey, but I think Ash is actually the one that's playing the best. And the reason I think that is maybe Trey has the most agency right now, but once we get to that merge, I don't see a world where people are like, Trey is not playing a good game. Like, once we get past like the final 10, Trey will be, in my opinion, one of the biggest threats in the cast. And I think that they'll link Ash with him. But when they take Trey out, they will scoop Ash up because Ash does have good relationships with everybody. Every single person, for the most part, ranks Ash high. So I give her a lot of credit for that. I actually think that she's playing the best. And then Jacob, for being a first-time player, is impressive. But one thing I will state, this is like kind of heavily discussed in the prod chat, but like those three brought in Zay as an alliance member. And he went to Zay and he was like, yeah, you're going to be our fourth. So that was the one thing I didn't like about Jacob is like, here, Zay, you're on the bottom of our alliance. Congratulations.
Yeah, it kind of rubbed Trey incorrectly. And then Trey, if you guys noticed, did spiral a lot and was like, Zay's going to be coming after me. I could just tell the energy shifted. And then fast forward to Zay's rankings and Trey was number 2. But Trey was like, oh my God, Zay's voting me out. And I was like, oh, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Don't do it. But Trey caught himself. He was like, oh no, I think I'm being way too paranoid. I'm kind of what I think Trey's thing is he's such a well-rounded, smart player that he's kind of thinking that people are thinking exactly like him. And so he's like, oh, well, they're going to notice that I'm in this position or I'm in that spot. So they're going to start planning for it when they're really not even like considering it at the current moment. So he gets a little like in his head, but he's good at working himself and getting himself out of it. So that was really good.
Well, he was
Cesar?
never. Yeah. No, I agree with Styles on the Ash situation, but we're talking about this week right now, right? We're not talking about right now. That's why I think Trey is playing the best game in the tribe. I think whatever Trey says, that's who's going home. He's in the power position right now.
Do you feel like he might be flying a little bit too close to the sun? Like you mentioned, like they might start coming for him. Like, do you think he needs to start pulling back now, or do you think he's still in an okay spot?
So
Um,
sorry, Cesar. So
no, go
he,
ahead.
yeah, I'll be really quick. So I don't think he's had to fly close to the sun because there's really nothing that's happened. There is no like move that's been printed on his name. There's no real like capital that he's had to spend yet.
At all. At all. So I don't think that's why I don't want to look into the future yet. But he doesn't have any moves or anything that would put him at risk like that right now. Okay, his tribe, they had a man there. Woohoo! I mean, they haven't done anything. All right.
Yeah, but is it something to note his social agency right now? Is that I think what is going to make him a threat down the line is the fact that his agency is fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay, you are correct. But here's no, we're not talking about this week. Okay, carry on.
Well-
It's okay, it's okay. But yeah, that I think is what's eventually going to get him is his agency so well, and I think especially in Survivor in this type of format, you want to kind of leave a couple question marks, which is risky. It's always risky to do that, but to have everyone like you, they will compare their notes. This is a game of comparing notes,
Yes.
and that eventually will become the issue. But I think that I mean, I think Trey is smart enough to where he's gonna leave some people out when it gets down the line. When we hit merge and stuff like that, I think that there's enough people at that point that he wouldn't have enough of a relationship with.
I agree.
So going into a tribe swap, do you guys feel like this tribe is at a disadvantage because they had like an easy consensus boot and they didn't necessarily have to, strategize and, form alliances as much as some of the other groups that it was more up in the air who was going to go home?
Yeah, this one was more kumbaya than anything. They were all like, "Oh my God, I love everyone. Everyone's so great," which is, I think, fair. Like they're getting to know one another, and they were all getting along fairly well. But I think that they were about to get steamrolled, um, with that trio of Jacob, Trey, and Ash, because the three of them, I think, would be able to pull at least one, maybe one each, and they would just dominate. They would steamroll that. No one else really set up a lot. That was correct me if I'm wrong. That was the only alliance on Hanu.
There was a few others, but the main core structure
It
was
was that was
absolutely
the
those
core.
three.
That was the three.
They had the alliance with
And then
Trey
they
and Ash
added
had the one with the
Zay.
Deeb, and they had the Zay one. It's
But
like
that
they
was
were
the
definitely
three.
good.
Yeah,
The one thing
that's
I'll
what I
say,
mean. They were branching out, trying to get their ones.
yeah, 100%. So they would
The
have
only
definitely
one,
made it
the
happen.
only one that wasn't in any alliance or that isn't in any alliance, however, isn't, is Marcus. He's the only one alone.
I don't think Marcus is in an alliance at all. Still,
No, that's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
yes.
And
Also, Haley hasn't been mentioned. How do you guys feel like Haley's been doing?
right now, who? Um,
Poop?
He said who?
Oh, I think he said poop, and I was like, oh God.
right now,
Yes, yeah. Going
right now.
on
I
Sunday
know
evening,
more.
there's not much going on there.
I obviously know more.
Haley's the type of player I think that she's a slow burn. She's gonna find her agency possibly when it's too late or possibly at the perfect time. It really just depends on how the rest of the game transcends. I think that she's more of a passive player, so I think that her presence in the beginning isn't as strong, but I think that she has potential.
If she makes that merge, she'll have a lot of longevity. I think.
Right now, the way it works, I think they're forgetting this week. Okay, this week right here, right now, the one that we're talking about, nothing. You can't say she has potential because she's not.
She does have potential though because she's not doing bad in the ranks. She was Amanda was below her. Marcus was below her.
Well, Amanda. Come on. I mean, here's
He
the
had
deal.
an
The difference
agency.
between Brian and I is he will always be the positive, and that's good for him, all right? So whatever you need to cut
This is
from
not
me,
about you
just
and
cut
I.
me.
This is about them.
Whatever
So
I
let's
say
move
that you
on.
don't like, just cut me, okay? Just cut it from the edit. No, I'm just being
That
honest.
is turning into
About
couples
you
therapy.
and I.
You gotta keep it in the edit. It's fucking awesome. But,
So
I agree.
before we move on from
You agree, right? Yeah.
Right now on Sunday evening, what would the date be? Fucking November 17th.
at
We're not
12:30
looking.
p.m.
We're
yeah.
not too good. But the thing I'll say, like, if you go if you have that slow burn, it gives you more longevity because you're just not
If
as
you
much of a
can make
threat.
it. If you can make it.
That's the thing, is she's very much at risk
Is
of
she
being
going
an
to make
easy
it?
boot.
Is she
She
going
could-
to make it?
She could be pulled in. I mean, a good player will see the
Is she
opportunity,
going-
but
Is she
she
going
could be
to
an
get
easy
it to
boot.
the swap? Is she going to get the swap? We don't know that. And the way she's playing, who knows?
Well, and I would argue, and this is something that I've asked in a couple of the voice calls that I've been in, is that there's a way to play Survivor and there's a way to play Big Brother. And I feel like the way that Haley's playing, if it was Big Brother, not great. But I think in Survivor, there's more wiggle room for people that have a slower start because you need numbers always. So if you get along with someone, but they're not really giving you like much game talk, like it's still good to keep them around because you could use them in 3 votes.
Right, but that could happen with Haley, Marcus, or Zay, because they all feel the same way about them. They're talking, but they're not saying any game. So any of those three could go home.
I
tomorrow.
would say Haley and Marcus are the most similar. I think Zay had a bit stronger of a start than the
So
two
we're-
of them.
yes, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah, Zay had a bit stronger of a start. I think that Marcus and Haley are slow burns. But I think that Zay was a tier above in the sense that Zay was really on top of
I agree.
being in voice chats and making sure that when they were on not just tribal competition voice chats, they were contributing and they were which they don't realize. They said in a voice chat DR that they don't feel like they were the leader. I feel like Zay was the clear leader. Zay was organizing everything, making sure, and then they had a blowout. They killed that challenge.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, Zay was a leader for sure.
By the way, for all you viewers, we kind of gave you hints that we don't think the same way about Haley anymore. All right?
Here's what I'll say about
You can
Zay.
edit that out. But that's just, hey, you know what is it? Go ahead, what?
What editing? We're not on a camera right now. The camera's not there. You have to forget about it, sister.
No, because
You gotta forget about the camera, sister.
I think that Zay, like, if you're just like starting everyone from the beginning, like no Survivor knowledge, no nothing, has the most potential of anybody in the entire cast. Like, I don't think that that'll come to fruition this season, but I do think that they show a lot of latent ability.
Good. I really
could.
think Zay has
It
a
could.
lot of agency. I think that if Zay gets to a point where they feel like they're back into a corner, I see, and I don't like comparing people because I think that everyone, especially because it's two different formats. I've never seen Nemi play Survivor, but Nemi, if you guys remember in All Stars, two of you played it.
Not me.
Barely.
Not me. No, not me.
You're on Legends though, because you're a king.
Thanks.
Emmy found out that they were in trouble, and they spent the entire day voice chat after voice chat with so many people, flipped that vote onto poor Bex, and then ultimately stayed and made the final 5. I think Zay, if they feel that type of pressure, they're gonna apply it.
I do remember that. I was actually there for that. One of
I
the
was
few
there for
votes
that
I was
too.
there for.
I can't compare them two. Okay, to me they're two completely different players, so I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I like him. I like him. Yeah,
him. You're good.
I like him. He's a good guy. And
Yes.
if I was playing, I would probably want him on my side.
So, talking about like rankings of this tribe, does anyone have any tier lists or anything they would like to talk about? Siles?
I think right now, Trey, Ash, Jacob, obviously the top 3, but Adib has the potential to go from like the 4 spot, which is probably where he's at. Adib, Zay, Haley, Marcus, because Marcus would have been the next boot. Adib has a chance to jump to number 1 if things play out a certain way.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that ranking, that's about right.
I would put Adib on that top tier though, because like I said, the rankings don't lie. Adib was number one. So I
Yeah,
think that outside of just that core three, Adib has made an impression on at least everyone on that tribe.
yeah, definitely 3
I
or
would
4.
put
He's up there
I
with
would put it
Jacob, sort of.
I would put him up there. I think that falling behind obviously was Amanda, who I think, Styles, you said this in the beginning, had incredible potential, was extremely sweet, extremely kind, just unfortunately did not have the time, which happens. Sometimes we sign up and we don't realize. But I would say Amanda, Marcus, and Haley were the three that were really falling behind on this tribe.
What do you guys think about Marcus's redemption story? He wants to play the game more aggressively. Have we felt he's done that so far?
Marcus's
Ooh.
biggest issue is that he does not have confidence in his abilities when time and time again, when his back against the wall, how many competitions has he won in Northern Lights? How many times has he survived votes? If Marcus just got out of his head, I feel like he has such potential to be an incredible player because he's personable. People like him. He's funny. He has everything he needs. And I just don't think he realizes that.
Yeah, and having played with him, I think you can kind
So,
of sense that a bit too. The
Mm.
like hesitancy to like go like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
I
And I
also,
wish go ahead, go ahead.
I also think something that's going or playing against Marcus is the fact that Camille is playing in another tribe, and Camille and Trey do not get along. So he's stuck with
I
Trey.
don't have a T on that.
I don't know the tea on that, but obviously they're both saying they don't. There's bad blood there in the game. I don't know what personal. This is not personal at all. Anyhow, but so Trey looks at Marcus as a number 4 Camille. So that's gonna be hard for Trey to let go of.
Well, and that's an interesting thing coming into a tribe swap is how are these like cross tribe relationships that have been, just like waiting to be brought to the surface, how are those going to affect the game?
Luckily, not too crazy. I want to pat us all on the back. We fucking killed it with casting. So I think like yeah, there's like two or three like
What was the
obviously
question?
how the relationships are going to impact tribe swaps and merge and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts on Hanu before we move on to Tinihanga?
No, I think they're that group is killing it. Those 4, they're gonna make it far.
Hanu, I would say, was I think the most organized. They were the best team oriented tribe.
Which is why they won a lot.
Yeah. I think
I think
Tinihanga won the most though. Tinihanga because Hano only won like they
however many,
steamrolled
yeah.
the first comp. Yeah, and then Tinihanga won twice. They were always immune.
I just also don't think they had the pressure. They knew they had Amanda.
Yeah,
So
poor
I don't
Amanda.
think anybody
Actually,
was all that worried except for Trey's paranoia.
yeah.
Like I don't know how that I never thought that would happen.
I think that come a merge, if a couple of Tinihangos are taken out, that Hanu will be the biggest threat. And people like Trey, the leaders of that group, are going to be on the chopping block a little bit.
that's the thing though. You don't know who's the leader. We know because we're seeing it over here, but if you go into the if you look at the DRs or whatever, they're not all saying, "Oh, Trey's the main guy." No, it's just they all like all of them.
Yeah.
So, moving to Tinihanga, Cesar, why don't you give us a little recap of what went on for this first week with them?
Tinihanga was a or is a it's a show. It's a show. So we have no, you know what? I'm not good at summarizing. I'm good at input. So go ahead, Brian or Styles, because it's a hot mess.
Oh,
Brian?
yeah. Tinihaga's a fucking mess.
I
It
don't
is.
know.
It is. But it's a lot. It's. I mean, it's entertaining. I would say this is the most entertaining tribe out of all three. Just because they are all, I think, in their own way, and I say this with love, a little bit crazy. I would say Aaliyah is the most sane, and that's because she's like, fuck all of this noise. Like, I'm not dealing with it. You guys go ahead, be crazy. I'm just gonna go like live my life. So I would say outside of like Aaliyah, everyone spiraled to some extent on Tinihanga. And then a majority of
So,
them played way too hard, way too early. And I
so
love
It's an
we have
understatement.
we have Aaliyah, Gage, Jesse, Slade all together. And then we have Camille, Virgo, Jensen.
Yeah, and then Abby did gravitate towards the Slade Gage side. They definitely felt more comfortable over there. Because like I said, the dynamics for Tinihanga were very dramatic. So Jesse was
Well,
constantly speaking.
Abby at first was with Jesse, with Jensen and Camille.
Yeah.
But then
And then
Slade and Jesse talked to them and um they got convinced that they were the good guys. So Abby completely flipped. Um Jesse, well, I guess, well, I don't know what all I can say, but go ahead.
So, Styles, who would you say are the two or three like power players on Tinihanga?
To me, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think that Gage played the best out of everybody. He was in the power. He was constantly, for some reason, an option to be pulled in from Virgo, Camille, maybe not Camille, kind of, but Jensen, for some reason, trusted Gage. Jensen's downfall, in my opinion, originated from two people, and that was Jesse. Obviously, Jesse was just a fucking mess. And this is, I mean that with all love. Jesse's amazing, like an amazing casting choice. And then Gage just sold out the alliances that were created and just hit this target on Jensen. And in my opinion, Gage was definitely the centerpiece of the entire tribe.
See, I've heard
in the best position as well. And he was ranked number 1, right?
Gage was number 1, yeah.
I think Gage has played a good game in that part. 100%. I think Jensen, his downfall, in my opinion, my humble opinion, he was trusting Jesse. And then not only that, but I also think that right now in this week or whatever, Virgo wasn't the Virgo that I'm seeing now. Because of the fact, like even Virgo, Jensen's paranoid, blah blah blah. When he wasn't really being paranoid, he was telling the truth. They were coming after him. They were all, yeah, Brian, they were all coming after him.
They were all coming after him because he put his hand in way too many bowls.
He made way too many
hold on one second. They all put their hands in way too many bowls. The problem was Jesse sold him out.
Jesse sold him out, sure, and that's what sunk Jensen.
That's what happened. But it's not because he was freaking out, because he had his hands in all they're all, that whole tribe is a hot mess.
Right, but it did rub people wrong how vocally he was paranoid. Because Jensen went right for it with people. On day 1, he was trying to talk game. And I think that coming out too strong, like we talked about, a slow burn is better for Survivor. So yeah, sure, Jesse did sink him. But I think that Jensen was shooting himself in the foot by trying to do too much too early. And Jensen was trying to get people to say names. And in doing that, that paranoia that he had was rubbing people the wrong way, outside of Jesse just, completely ruining his game. But
he made an alliance with Jesse day 1, and I think in Survivor, when you have this 2 or 3 day weekend period, that gives you time to kind of just get a good gut feeling and feel people out. An initial conversation that lasts 20 seconds about where you work and shit like that is just not enough. So he brings in, he obviously trusts Virgo, great, obviously great move. Virgo's a good ally. But he trusts Jesse, brings him into the alliance. I forgot what the alliance, something coffee, like I don't remember what the hell it was. But obviously that was the main downfall. And I just think Gage as well. I think Gage definitely was planting seeds very well about Jensen, and it paid it off ultimately.
Jesse is the doll, though, Derek. Jesse is a doll. That's the diva. I'm obsessed.
Jesse's amazing. I love Jesse. One of the best ones.
I'm going to give ratings. I'm going to give drama, and has delivered on every front.
So, do you feel like Jesse, with the moves that he made on this first tribe, set himself up good for the tribe swap, or do you think he might have done a little bit too much?
Horrible. He got rid of someone that had him number 1.
He sold out Jensen, who had him number 1 exactly.
Jensen trusted him so much. He should have went for
sold
someone.
out the wrong people.
You don't do that. It don't matter if you're playing Big Brother. You don't vote out someone that has you number 1 and gives you every little detail.
What was bad for him?
And then, was that?
No, I didn't know. Go ahead. You're good.
No. And then, and he went with this group that I don't even know if they have his back for real.
Slade has Jesse's back. Gage I believe Gage and Slade were sussing Jesse a little bit. I don't remember accurately on that one, so I don't want to say. But I know Slade definitely had Jesse's back to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. Well,
But Jesse
Slade
did
does
go.
have everyone to an extent. I think the only one that Slade has as number one presently was Gage.
How do you think Slade has played this first week?
Slade.
I feel like I've been answering first. Anyone want to go?
I think Slade's been great. I think Slade is paranoid as fuck, and it might cost him later. He's just so paranoid. Like, and the energy is paranoid. He's always kind of low key questioning his allies, and sometimes that's actually not a really bad. Like, you can get information that way because people get nervous, but Slade's been good, and Slade's made really good individual connections, particularly with the people on his side. He got into a fight with, like, a confrontation, whatever, with Camille and Jensen. Whatever. Jensen's out of here. He wins. But Slade did get voted for, and that's not a great sign for things. People wanted Slade to go. Camille wanted Slade to go. I think that a lot of people that took out Jensen, to be honest with you, made a mistake. And I think that people like Gage, Gage was fine, but Jesse, like Slade, should have went after someone either like in the middle, whether it been Aaliyah or someone who they had nothing with, like Camille. Like, we need to take out Jensen. Like, this fixation on Jensen may
Well,
cost
he
Jesse
said
to
it's
play their
because
game.
something about. He said because it was something about some drag queen, whatever. Brian would probably know this. He can't. He's like, oh, it's gonna be funny when they find out that I'm only going after Jensen because he can't be top 20 at drag something.
Yeah.
The
I'm assuming he was
simulation.
trolling.
I was like, are you being serious right now?
No, I don't think Jesse was being serious. But a good point. I mean, talking of Camille, a good point to bring up for Danyanga is Camille was kind of fucked. Camille had like no agency on the stripe. He was
Camille
ranked
had no way. They could have gotten rid of Camille like that.
They should
he was
have
ranked
gotten rid of
7th
Camille like
of
that.
8. So I think that Camille was likely going to be the number 2 target to most people here. I mean, that's an assumption, but I think Camille was in a really bad spot here.
It should have been Camille first for a lot of those people.
Yeah, because Camille, I think Camille is going to get a better grip on the game, whereas Jensen, people already had their preconceived judgments. Camille was kind of still a question mark to people, so I think that would have been the better player to get out. But I mean, that's the beauty of Camille, is he's able to kind of maneuver those situations where he escapes.
What you mentioned that Aaliyah is kind of like trying to stay out of, a lot of stuff. Do you feel like she didn't have enough agency on this tribe?
No, Aaliyah did fantastic. Everyone out the gate, Gage was in love with her. Gage said that was going to be his number one. Virgo loved her. Jesse loved her. Aaliyah did a great job of making the first impression count and then kind of falling back a little bit. And then a really great point about Aaliyah that I forgot is she caused all the paranoia on Camille because she's the one who threw the rogue vote just for fun.
It's so funny, and then some people are blaming Gage and another Jesse.
None of them think it's Aaliyah. She has played, I think, a very, very smart Survivor game so far.
Yeah.
I have concerns.
I don't feel the same way he does. I do think she's playing a good game. We'll put it that, but that's about it. I don't really think there's anything really she's doing that's like, oh my God.
But isn't that a good
even her connections right now, they're kind of just falling and dropping. So yeah, I don't see, my views on her are not the same as these guys, but good.
I go by the facts. Aaliyah's ranked number 2 of 8.
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
I have some concerns though, and I feel like people would be willing to get rid of and like not put their game on the line for Aaliyah. She doesn't have any. She's ranked socially high, and people enjoy Aaliyah. Matter of fact, she's probably like one of the most likable people, like maybe on Earth. But the problem is,
I do think she's awesome.
She didn't make very, very strong strategic bonds. I feel, and I feel like when push comes to shove, when Aaliyah wants something to happen, there's going to be difficulty with that because people are going to have already established relationships with other people, and those strategies will form with them as opposed to anything with Aaliyah.
Derek, I want you to weigh in because you're a Survivor person. So do you think that Aaliyah's strategy of kind of that slow burn, as I keep saying here, that's going to be take a shot every time Brian says slow burn, but
I think that especially in the pre-merge, the pre-swap of Survivor, the best thing you can do is have people like you and not make waves. And I feel like that's what Aaliyah did. And
Bingo.
I've never played with Aaliyah, but I've been on prod with Aaliyah, and she does have this like almost gravitational pull where you just like want to be around her. You just she's so like just nice and cheerful, and if I was playing with her, I would immediately trust her, which is what a lot of these people seem to
Mhm.
have done.
Immediately.
So I think as long as Aaliyah knows when to like put on the gas and when to step off the gas, because eventually she will need to put on the gas.
Yes.
Uh, I think that she will be in this game for a long time.
Agreed.
I agree. That's like the one thing she's missing is like just the she needs like just a little
I don't
Salt
want her
Bay
to be
extra,
bad.
just a little extra.
But I know
He'll
when I
fucking be
play-
running shit.
I know when I play Survivor over Big Brother, I'm always gonna take it slower than faster. Like if I'm like, I don't know if I should, I won't
I
because
take that from
really,
a season 1 icon.
well, well, especially pre-merge, like you don't want to do anything that's gonna fuck you over. Because unlike Big Brother, where you let's say you have like a flub week 4, then there's like four other people that have flubs, and if the people that care don't get power, then you're safe. Survivor, if you have a flub week 4, you're like in danger week 5, week 6, week 6. Like
First
you
of
will
all,
like that is not going away.
you played Survivor season 1, like you just said, an icon, and you were a slow burner. That's the negative. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I think Derek was a slow burn.
No, no. He was always there. No,
Derek
I
was a
wasn't
slow burn.
making
Derek was
moves.
around.
I wasn't
But-
making the moves necessarily. I was letting like Bex and David and Bonnie. Like it's not
Correct.
Bonnie.
You were
I was letting them
interviewing
do a
too.
lot of the.
But you were talking to them.
And Mikey. Mikey was there.
We
That's
know
why-
that from a production standpoint. The players, Derek's presence to them was not the main character, though he was the main
But that's
character.
what I'm saying. We're talking from production standpoint, right? She's not even doing that. So there's a difference. There's a difference between being a slow burner and just not doing anything.
If she just gave a little, she would have a chance to be in a really powerful position and be pulled into potential
should be
power
true, though.
dynamics.
I
All
mean,
I'm saying is it's still really, really early. And
It
there's
is
still
early.
time for her to put that
It is
pedal
early.
to the metal and get some shit done.
And Brian's usually right. So he's probably gonna be like, oh, I told you so, blah, blah, blah.
I will probably clip this, yeah.
Sometimes it takes being left out of a big move or something like that to wake you up a little bit. And I think
Not
Leah
even
needs
that.
like a cup of water, like right in the
It
face.
also
like,
wakes everyone else up to, oh, I really like her and she's obviously not being included. Let me scoop her up. Then everyone scoops her up and suddenly she becomes number 1.
But that's the thing, though, right? The thing about Aaliyah is, which doesn't help her either, because she's so nice, people do connect her with other people. So they do want to keep her out of the loop, only because she is Aaliyah. Ooh, she could be good with this person. Oh, she could be good. Trust and believe.
Does someone remember who clocked that Aaliyah and Courtney were on the same production team? Because someone did clock that. I don't remember
Slade.
what. It was Slade?
Right? It was
I don't-
I think,
I
I think
don't-
it was. I think it was. It might have
Someone
been a,
clock,
it might
they're
have been a girl.
clocking her connections. So I think you're right on that. They're definitely clocking connections because Aaliyah also knew Adib
Yeah.
and Day, but I don't know if people know about that.
So
But they did clock Aaliyah and Zay. Even they may not think that they know each other, but they put them as like a duo, which is a true statement right now. Wait, sorry, are they in the same tribe right now? See, sorry, we're going into a different week. We can't be doing that.
I have one thing to say that we haven't talked about is that Aaliyah and Adib are apparently like great friends, and Aaliyah is very interested in working with Adib, so that's just something to look out for in the future.
So if you had to rank this tribe like we did the first, how would your
Entertainment?
rankings go?
Number 1 in entertainment, and
Yeah,
then I would say middle of the pack and everything else. They weren't the best, they weren't the worst.
yeah, no,
Oh,
they were
between the
definitely
three?
entertaining as fuck.
Between the three?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought you meant like rank them, the players.
Well, you can rank the players too.
No, okay, well, from this week player-wise, I think it was Gage. I think it was Gage, Jesse, Slade, Aaliyah, Virgo, Camille, Jensen. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody?
I agree with the
Abby.
last 2. Abby, I think middle of the pack, but
Oh,
Abby was
sorry, I forget.
Abby was aware though, and I love to point that out about Abby, is Abby was aware that they were in the middle of two kind of groups forming.
Correct.
I think that that's, in my opinion, a very smart place to be in the beginning. So
Correct. See,
I give
no,
Abby a
Abby
lot
was
of credit
playing
for
good.
this
They
rank.
were playing good. They were
Yeah.
playing good. Abby was, and I keep missing Abby because I have something over here. I don't know what we're talking about, but they're not on my list right now. That's why I keep missing.
Oh, that's fine. I would
So
say, yeah, I would say Gage. Gage was the number one ranked player on Tinihanga, so that speaks for itself. The facts are the facts. I do think Jesse was number three. I do think that everyone was suspicious of him though immediately. They liked him. He was giving them information. They were suspicious. I don't think Jesse ever really had true 100% agency because, and he knows this, he was having a fun time, but he was playing too hard too early.
That he was, for sure. It's an understatement.
Well, yes. I mean, he's still
My
there.
top two would have been, my top two are, I think, reflect the rankings. I think Gage, Aaliyah were the standouts on this tribe.
I think Gage definitely number one, and then I think Slade probably would be my number two.
Yeah, between Jesse and Slade, I picked those two.
Slade, I don't know if you remember in Arctic Blast Styles, didn't really, from what I remember, didn't have as strong as a social game. Slade's social game from then to now, uh, it's incredible. It's
He's
gotten
improved
so
a
much
lot.
better.
He's definitely improved as a player from what
So
I've
much
seen.
better.
For
It's
sure.
really, he's got a really strong social game. It's actually pretty awesome.
I think Abby would be up there as well. Same thing you say, Zara. I don't have them on my list at the moment, but yeah, Abby definitely played was in a pretty solid position. I mean, Abby did win a steal a vote, correct?
Abby leaving or Abby, yes.
I don't know that yet.
Huh?
They don't know that yet.
Okay, right, my bad. Abby is a very crucial member of this tribe. We'll put it that way.
Yes, agreed. And I think that Virgo's hindrance was that she was in Vegas, which she was very open about. She said, "Everyone, hi, I won't be as active. I'm in Vegas." That made her fall behind. I think her arc towards the end of this first week, and then for what we'll potentially see in the future, that's something to watch. She's locked in now.
People saw her as ingenuine for some reason at the start. Remember, a lot of people made that comment.
It was Gage, I think. Gage was like, "Oh, she's trying to be mother of the gays." Yeah. And he said it there, which Gage will say it right to your face, which I do respect. So Gage was like, "Oh, you're mother of the gays," and she was living for it. And meanwhile, he's like, "No, that's not a compliment."
Virgo is amazing to watch, though, and Virgo is very tightly aligned with Trey, or not tightly aligned. We don't know exactly what's going to happen yet, but she has met Trey and Taylor Lyon in real life. That could be important at some point.
She said in a voice chat DR that she was nervous for the dynamics of her relationship with Trey because she burned the shit out of Trey. So that's going to be interesting to see if they both make merge.
Trey did say in his VR that he doesn't really want to play with Virgo because Virgo is new to the community, new to this kind of games or whatever, and she still thinks it's funny to backstab people.
I think that's an incorrect read. I don't think Virgo enjoys backstabbing anyone. I think she hates lying. I think that she, on his end, that's an incorrect.
I'm sorry. I 100% disagree. I think that if you know you're gonna vote someone else, stop calling that person love right away, like throughout the whole game.
No, that's the point.
That's
have a strong social game.
No,
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Don't like. No, she enjoys that.
Why shift your energy? Because if you shift your energy, is it not going to give it away? No,
100%. But I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't enjoy it back. I think
that she enjoys the personal relationships that she's making. I think that on a game level, she's competitive, she's strategic, and she's smart. So she's someone who is able to separate the two. She can like someone while still voting them out.
100. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's a great person. I'm just saying. I think it is funny.
You gotta emphasize that gasp, Derek. That was good.
Don't make the promo.
I still think, that's what he said. that she still enjoys. She thinks it's fun.
I don't think she enjoys it. I disagree. I don't think she enjoys it. I think that she enjoys the relationship she makes. I think she enjoys the game for itself. I don't think she would never take pride in hurting someone's feelings or upsetting them or lying, especially. I disagree.
Real quick though, because I know we're probably getting to the end here of this tribe, but you mentioned Trey and Camille have beef. Very important. Virgo and Camille are in a final 2.
Virgo has Camille number 1.
Yes,
I
and they had a really, really, really amazing voice call.
I think, and I could be proved wrong, I think that she will choose Camille over them.
I think she would choose
so too.
Camille over them 100% as well. But I also think Taylor and Ben will be okay, and I think they all have their number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that we'll get, once we're done with everything, I'll kind of give my predictions or whatever. But
Me too.
I think that they will. Who we'll speak about, like the power dynamic that I predict, will work together for a bit, and then you're just gonna see snip, a lot of like voting blog back. It's gonna be fucking spicy. I'll tell you.
I think Camille's gonna be their downfall.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Fuck yeah. Camille and potentially Virgo.
But I don't know about Virgo. I think Camille is. But we'll get to that. Go ahead. What was the next question?
I think we can move on to our final tribe, which is
my favorite.
Wahahi. Wahahi.
You better.
You gotta say it like the Nemo fucking initiating Nemo to the whatever the
I was always reading it like Michael Jackson.
Say it. What's that?
Like the hee hee.
Where were we?
Right. So this is the
Where
tribe.
were we?
This is the tribe that went to the most tribals, correct?
Correct.
They sucked at challenges.
Well. So we'll start with Cesar now. Who were the power players on Wahahi, and who were you most impressed by?
Power players were Ben, Taylor, Ryan, and Sean.
Which Sean was kind of in trouble for a second there, but he got himself out of it.
Where?
For about a day, it was Philip and Kevin, and then that.
Well, yeah, but I
I
don't think that was gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, they ran the show for about 8 or 9 hours or so.
Right. We'll give them 8.5 hours.
Yeah, I can go with that.
And but no, I think those 3 are the power players in that tribe.
Can we talk about Philip?
I
My God, what would you like to talk about?
Okay, here's the deal. Okay, I like Philip because, to me, I see him as a kid, and I just want him to do well. He's so he reminds me of Styles when he first started.
I think Philip has incredible potential to be the perfect TV villain.
Yes,
I think that he has,
Fuck yes.
and not the unlikable kind either, because Philip is also sure, yeah, he's having a little fun, he's being a little messy, but he's doing it in a way where it's likable. I like having him in here. I like watching him play. I like that he's kind of yeah, I'm gonna tell this person final 2, and I'm gonna tell this person final 2, and I'm also gonna tell this person final 2, and I'm like, you know what, you fucking do it.
He's one of those villains. He's like one of those villains you hate at the beginning, this guy, just get this guy out. And then they get to the merge and you know what? I hope this fucking guy wins the whole thing. You know what I mean? Why not?
But he needs to learn. He still has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Because he keeps getting in trouble, and he's had opportunities to get out of that trouble, and he doesn't know how to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
He gives me Mikey from Survivor 1 vibes.
Don't insult him.
No, I don't think.
And you can keep that in.
I don't. He gives me. You remember Alejandro from?
Yeah.
Big Brother. Yeah. Oh my God.
Big
Yeah.
Brother?
Yeah. We were talking about that.
I agree. I see
Alejandro, and I remember rooting hard for Alejandro.
You really wanted Alejandro to win.
Yeah, I think I like the villain that isn't really like the villain.
I don't think
Alejandro
was actually a villain.
No, but Alejandro had his people, and he was loyal to his people. Period. I think yes, he was.
Nah, people in the cast did not like him, so he was definitely the villain to the cast. As a viewer, Alejandro is it's another one of those instances like, this fucking guy, man, like get him out. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, you're like, like this guy's kind of growing on me. He's one of those.
What do you
Um,
think Philip did wrong this week?
Oh, dude, on everything.
what
Unfortunately.
did he do right? We'll say what did he do right?
I think
Like it's
like they said, it's rookie mistakes. It's just a lack of
Yeah.
consistency in the games, which is it's not his fault. I don't think that he's playing bad. I think that his issue is he made a lot of empty promises, and when you make empty promises, especially as early as he did, that's still a phase where people are still getting to know one another. So they're saying, "Oh, I really do like this person, and I don't like this person." That's how kind of game talk starts to begin. Is kind of like an assessment on the tribe or the cast, whatever it may be. That's how people kind of get into it. And so I think a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, well Philip was really good with me. I feel really," and then that's where it goes south because then you get more in depth, and it's like, "Oh, he promised you a final two as
I
well."
think
Yeah.
when you have someone like Sean in a tribe, that doesn't fly very well because Sean is a paranoid player as well that I've noticed. All right. And Sean likes to find out every little detail. So guess what? If you're telling everybody that they're your final two, that's your ride or die duo, blah, blah, blah. If Sean's gonna find out and Sean's gonna make sure everybody knows. And that's what happened to
Yeah. I think I can analyze exactly where Philip has his problems. I think that Philip is a very intelligent person. I think he actually has some really, really understandable ideas. Like you could see what he's going for. He's trying to get in the power position. He had this buddy system that he did, where it was basically like a secret parachute alliance, where he had his 3, 4 final twos, and he had told all of them to go bring one person in. I mean, that's a pretty original and cool strategy. But the problem with him is that he only sees things in the game from his perspective. So like he does something and he feels like it's 100% going to work. And he doesn't think about the consequences of the things that he says. He also doesn't really think about the other people's feelings in terms of the game. He'll go to them and you got to make these people feel special. You have to say something different to everybody. You know what I mean? You can't, if you want to go around and make really tight alliances, you don't have to say final two. You can say like, man, we connect because of this. And like you can, once those people compare notes, if they have different notes, it's just not as bad of a look on you. And that's where he goes wrong because he told everybody the same shit. He's like, dude, we could ride this out to the end. Nobody will expect it. He told that to every person on the cast with the exception of Courtney, I believe.
Who?
But he's still around. He's still around.
Well, and that was my next.
He might have told Courtney that too. He might have.
I was shifting gears, so you go first.
I would just want to say how the fact that Courtney was able to maneuver this and somehow get herself out of trouble unscathed. Potential.
I don't even sure.
She's really
I don't want to give Courtney the credit for this. Okay, that was not the thing. Is they wanted not Philip, but what's his name? TR and Ben, and they wanted Kevin or Philip out. Period. And
yeah, but I think that's because Kevin got caught lying about Courtney's vote, and that sunk Kevin. But before that, Taylor Ryan wanted to speak to Courtney because he had an interest there. She had piqued the interest, at least in that social aspect. Now she's another one. Take a shot, slow burn. He didn't come off.
Styles got the Hennessy right there.
She did not come out strong, but she was smart. I don't know. I think that to a certain degree, yeah, sure, you can say that they wanted to keep her, but you also have to be likable enough for people to want to keep you.
You do have to be likable, but if you got two people that you really want out, it doesn't really matter.
I think that they were so keen on it because all of them are like, let's pull Courtney in because everyone individually is like, man, I really like my conversation with Courtney. You know what I mean? Courtney likability is just off the fucking charts. And I think that'll always be your biggest strength.
Yeah, but then she's really dope.
She's actually really similar. She's kind of in the same spot as Aaliyah a little bit, in my opinion, as well. Very similar kind of position right now. Similar
I do like
approach.
I think she is cool.
I'm
going to call it that move wasn't Courtney's move.
There was... Go ahead.
No, if you have something to say, go for it, Sans.
Nah, we'll get into Tawana here. I'm assuming very soon, but there was an opportunity I felt like that was maybe missed, which was Courtney, Tawana, kind of comparing notes and realizing that the three of Taylor, Ryan, Sean, and Ben were close,
How
and
do
then
you
nothing.
not?
They could have done something about. They could have maybe just fuck it. Like, let's take control of the tribe. Let's take
This
out
is
one of
the
those three.
difference between what I'm saying. Like there's players and then there's fun people that are there. Um, you can cut this too.
No, you gotta have it, man. It's good. You
How
gotta
did
have
you
it.
not do that? How did you not see that? I thought it was pretty clear. I guess I wasn't playing, so I really, you know what? I don't know.
Tawana saw it, and I think Tawana
Tawana
was
did,
getting
yeah,
somewhere.
Tawana saw it.
Tawana was
Tawana is
getting
a
somewhere, but then he like
very
pulls back. I don't know
he's
what happened
very
there.
intuitive though. I've noticed that. He's not going the extra mile. He doesn't strike me as like a person who's very extra, but he's very intuitive. He's very smart. His reads are good. He's a good survivor
I
player.
agree. I like Tawana. I think he can
He's a
do
good survivor
super
player.
good. I think he can do so well. I just need him to pick up his social a little bit because he's lacking where he could get him in trouble.
I would
Yeah.
say though that
Because he's doing a lot of this with no fucking tea.
he's probably the most fun person to interview in a voice chat DR though.
Awesome.
He gives no fuck.
Awesome. So
He doesn't.
I like everybody, by the way.
Okay,
The cast is fun. I feel like
okay.
everybody serves a purpose
It's
on the
all
cast right
game.
now.
All I'm talking about is about game. I'm not talking about personal stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Just kind of taking one step back, so we don't like forget to talk about it. What did Kristen do wrong that led to her being the first boot?
Pissed off Kevin like in a past game or something like that. I guess like,
I don't-
like
So that's
Kevin
what it was.
metagame the fuck out of her for sure.
I don't think Kevin had a strong preference. I don't think that he necessarily liked her. I think her issue was she was not connecting with her tribe, and she thought that they weren't connecting with her, but they were all able to kind of find something where they were like, okay, like I'm getting along with this person. Whereas she's so kind and I love her, but I think people thought that it was just like inauthentic in a sense because she was so nice that they were just not like connecting with her.
Well, she went from top
let me-
3 in
No, there
Candlestick
were-
Nights
Oh,
to
let me add to what he's saying, right? Because I don't. Okay, so here's what happened.
Shocking.
She
Kaiser
wasn't-
disagrees with me.
She didn't connect, like he said, he's not the connection, and Kevin did, okay? What happened there was Kevin played a game with Kristen or whatever, and he thought that Kristen and Slade were like best friends or something like that. So that's what he spread around. At that time of the game, nobody was willing to like really say names. The alliances were just about to start. So that was an easy one to actually vote out.
Yeah.
Only because that went around. Oh, Kristen's connected to someone else over on another track, so we got to get that out. We
Yeah.
gotta get that out.
It originated in a voice call in an alliance voice call that was Philip, Kevin, and Ben. Obviously, Ben completely backstabs them after this tribal council, but Kevin on the call goes like, "Oh, Kristen knows people." So now all of a sudden, Ben actually was one of the people pushing Kristen's name as well, saying the same reason that you just said, that she's connected with Slade or whatever.
That's because Kevin went around.
Yeah, and it was just so like people like Taylor Ryan, people like Tawana. It's like, I mean, it ain't me. So like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Let's do Kristen. But yeah, I think that people really like Kristen. And matter of fact, there was ways to save Kristen. Like Philip could have went home this tribal if they just like compared notes a little faster. But yeah, she was just too passive, unfortunately.
Too passive, but I mean, Derek, I love that you brought it up. Her potential. She went all the way in camp. She was in final 3. That was a stacked cast. That was a lot.
Which game?
28. How many people do you have then? I
A
don't know.
lot.
It's
a
a
lot.
Ryan cast.
She had to go
It's
against
gonna be like 30 fucking
the
people.
Daily Empire as well.
What game?
But she navigated that so well, and I think that's because she's a genuine person. She's very, very sweet. But I think it was just people were not connecting with her here. And I really can't put my finger on why. I don't know why. Like I said, I think that she was so nice that people kind of struggled the same way they struggled with Virgo. They thought it was disingenuous. But I don't know why they didn't get to, because she was trying. She was making the effort to try and have but they weren't really giving her much.
Yeah, I was surprised that Philip turned on her too, because they actually had Philip had a pregame thing with everybody, but Philip had her
Yeah,
ranked high for
didn't
a
he have
few
like
days.
final two with her?
Yeah, he had a final two with everybody, but initially
I think-
Kristen was his number one for a few days.
Well, but I also think ultimately, I think Philip is playing second to Kevin.
Yeah.
I think Kevin was making the call. And
So
then-
can we shift to talking about Ben, who I think is a big part of this whole tribe, and the Kevin boot?
Huge.
Thoughts?
So Ben turning on Philip and Kevin. Let's just rewind to the start. So Ben, great player. Just super fucking dangerous. Any game that Ben's in, he's gonna go far. He's gonna be somebody that has a lot of influence in the game. So day one, Philip pulls his shit with Ben. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, I work here. Oh, I really want to work with you. I feel great about you. And this great vibes, like on the first page. And Ben comes to the DR and he's like, I don't know, this doesn't seem right. And Ben, over the next few days, had like planted seeds to people about, man, Philip, I don't know. He said we had good vibes and it was like really random. And then people like Taylor Ryan were like, oh, that's just Philip. He's new. So like for a few days, Philip had the little new moniker going. But Ben from day one was always skeptical of Philip, which was very important. Ben gets pulled into a random alliance with basically no like groundwork by Kevin and Philip, and Ben's like, all right, nice, great alliance, but his main people before an alliance was even made, him and Sean connected very well, and then I guess him and Taylor like kind of knew each other, but also connected too. Ben, those seeds that he plants about Philip eventually turn into more because Sean and Ben I think was the main beginning of the fall of Kevin and Philip because they compared notes on Kevin and Philip, particularly Philip. I actually think Philip was the main reason Kevin went home. I think Kevin was actually not doing that bad. He had the one mistake of blaming the Courtney vote, but that's just what he thought would happen. And
I was gonna say he
didn't
even say it was definitely Courtney.
Yeah, he said it's probably. I think so. I think if I had to guess, and I think because Philip did what got into a mess, Kevin paid the price because once Philip's game's blown up, now Philip is the easy, like he's nothing, like he has no power in the game. So let's just get rid of Kevin. He's more dangerous, could find an idol, more experienced. But back to Ben. Ben fucking plays his tribe brilliantly. Honestly, he makes connections with everybody. He pulls Courtney in close. Tawana and him, little shaky. So that was always a risk point.
A lot shaky.
Yeah, very shaky. They both really didn't like each other, to be honest. Tawana probably would have been like, let's say they go to tribal and they vote out Philip, because that's what would have happened. It would have been unanimous vote, no questions. Tawana probably would have been next, but Tawana was on to Ben. But Ben turns on Kevin and Philip hard, and they pull Courtney in and they blindside Kevin. And I just thought it was great gameplay. He made a super strong alliance, which could end up being really important with Taylor Ryan for the swap. And him and Sean were basically like a duo. But Sean did have Taylor Ryan ranked above Ben, so interesting. I think that Sean sees Ben as a bigger, more dangerous player. Also, sorry, I know I yapped for like 10 minutes.
No, it's funny because if you look at them three rankings, they don't even match, right?
Yeah.
Ben thinks that Sean is his number one or whatever, but Sean thinks Taylor Ryan is his number one, but then Taylor Ryan thinks
has Ben the number one.
Ben is number one. It's like, all right, well, that's kind of cool. At least they're all lost, but kind of connected.
Yeah.
But no, Ben is incredible. Right now, he's playing amazing.
I think he's going to be a big threat. I think you look at Ben and you have a conversation with Ben, you're like, man, this guy's fucking awesome. And that sticks in the back of your mind long term.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I think Camille, if he makes it farther, is going to be the downfall of all that little group.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. Because what's going to happen is, sorry, go ahead, Derek. You have a question?
Well, I think we're getting a little bit too far ahead. But where does this leave Philip? Because his number one is gone now. His actual number one is gone now. And he's kind of been exposed a little bit.
Yeah, he's alone. He has absolutely no alliances. But if he could pitch his position in his case well to his new tribe, he then becomes somebody that they're going to pick up as an easy vote. So if he plays his cards right, he could get himself into a power position. The problem with Philip is he'll make a slip up and give too much information to Sean at the swap, or give too much information to Courtney or Tawana, and then they're gonna fucking sell him out, and then he'll be the one back on the bottom again.
I don't get it.
Well, and the other problem is, would you want to bring in someone who has already proven that they aren't trustworthy and are just going to be talking to everybody?
Yeah, I would bring them in if I'm the OG Hanu members, because Wahai doesn't trust Philip. They'll never work together. Let's just bring Philip in and vote one of them out. And Philip would probably oblige.
I would bring Philip too, 100%.
But he needs someone to check him. He needs someone to be like, hey, like, you're doing too much. You're messy. You need to do these things different.
If someone sees a value in him, I think sure. But I think that his agency right now is bad.
He needs a cue to his Banu.
He needs help right now. He needs help.
Ryan, I'll start with you. Who do you think is playing a better game at this point? Sean or Taylor Ryan?
Taylor Ryan. I know that sounds really shady that was so quick. But I think Taylor Ryan is more leveled. And that's shown based on a rogue rope getting thrown on Taylor Ryan. Taylor Ryan could have malfunctioned. He could have been paranoid. He could have been looking around and freaking out. It was pinned on Courtney. And I think at first Taylor Ryan believed that. So he could have just completely wrote her off. Instead, he had a conversation with her and ended up forming an alliance, or at least a voting block with her. And blindsided Kevin that way. So I think that Taylor Ryan has proven that he's level-headed, he's calm, and I think that's more dangerous than anything in a Survivor game, is someone who can pretty much be like, oh, okay, and then assess and think before acting. I don't think that, and this is based off past games, so that's not necessarily fair to bring up for Sean, but I think that Sean has shown in the past that he is a little bit more of a firecracker, which he's also said in these current voice chat DRs that I've had with him. Another one that's fantastic in a voice chat DR, but he is aware that he's a firecracker. He does like that strategy and that gameplay. And he said in his voice chat, one of my questions that I asked him was, do you think that down the line that's going to be something that's a hindrance to you? And he said, yes, but I'm the type of player that thrives in chaos.
Well, and having played with him, he is an amazing liar. He's so good.
He's incredible. He really, he's one of the few players where I feel like he does genuinely thrive in chaos. He's one of those players where I feel like when his back is against his wall, that's when he plays the best, because he's just good at lying. Exactly like you said, he's good at, and he's personable. He's friendly. Like, it's not like he's again, this is not like a villain where we're like, oh my God, like, get him out. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's very good at the game.
He is good.
But I would say Taylor Ryan has the upper hand just based on energy and being able to stay calm, because that will make the difference in the end, especially when you're trying to strategize. If someone is malfunctioning and you see it, you're less likely to work with them.
Cesar, any thoughts to add?
No, I agree 100% with Brian. I think
you agree 100% with Brian?
Yeah, I think, but I mean, I could add some to it, but I don't want to. But I think TR. No, I'll add it a little bit. Okay, I think there's a difference the way they play, right? They play differently. I think when it comes to Taylor Ryan, he's talking game, right? Where Sean is flirting. So what happens is, no, and let me tell you what happens here. When it comes to flirting, all the flirts, they talk about it, right? So everybody knows who Sean's flirting with. Everybody knows who Gage's flirting with. Everybody knows about, because they all talk about it, because that's what they travel. Where Taylor Ryan is keeping a game, or I mean, he's very personable too. He doesn't focus on just the flirting, and those are the conversations that, you know what, everybody keeps quiet, where nobody knows who Taylor Ryan's with, right? He can keep the secrets do stay there. And I think that protects his game a little bit more than someone like
Sean. Yeah, Sean could be blown up. He, at any moment, the style of play that Sean has could just be exposed and he'd be gone. He could be in the best position, and then 12 hours later, he's on the chopping block.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Wahai?
Yeah, I actually have a prediction, and it's a really fucked up prediction. So Taylor Ryan has his main story right now coming into the season that he's been a second place finisher a lot recently. and he wants to play more aggressive, and he has shown that because a blindside on Kevin, it's a move. You know what I mean? He's putting himself out there a little bit and leaving people hung out to dry and being a little bit more aggressive in his relationships. But I think Taylor Ryan is one of the best players on the cast. Like Brian said, amazing, super cool and collected, amazing social player, good strategist, just always knows what the next best move is. The problem with Taylor Ryan is when he gets to the end, because he's so cool and collected, there's not like a lot of like, you gotta vote for me because I played that. Like, he's not like bringing that emotion and that like fervor to the finale speech. He's gonna list his moves and why he deserves to win on a very logical standpoint. That's just the way he thinks. That's the way he is. He's a really just cool guy. But if he sits to the end, let's say Ben or just someone like that's a little bit more like just a passionate speaker, I worry for his chances. And I think that he's going to finish second.
Not the curse continues.
I think that he's going to get to the end, and I think that we're going to hand him that Player of the Season award, and he is going to be in second place.
I don't see it. I think
think
he
he-
gets
you
the
think he
end.
can win?
I think he takes the win. I think that he has been so adamant on the fact that he has gotten second place so many times that he will have that fire if he gets there. I think that he will 100, and I think that he's gonna have the game to back it up. I foresee a very good game for Taylor Ryan.
Yeah. That's the one thing, though, just because we're doing, I'm assuming, a finale speech most likely over a voice chat, right?
I think Nala agreed. She just picked up her cone.
Mm-hmm.
He's just such a chill person.
I
Like, I would
think-
love to go out and grab a beer.
I disagree with him only because Taylor Ryan did say that he's trying to play different for that second place, whatever. And he, for example, he wants to claim the Kevin move, which is 100% him because they were all pushing for Philip. He's like, no,
Yeah.
Kevin. So he knows already. He's already keeping tab on what he's doing. And I think he is ready for that final two speech or finale speech.
You know what? Want to know what my gut tells me is that he may have a similar performance at the end to Daly, who's clearly like got the resume, amazing resume, bunch of moves,
Would you say?
but to Daly from
Oh,
camp.
cool.
So obviously we think that Daly played in just a crazy game. The game was ran by Daly, and I think Taylor Ryan will probably be in power most of and if not all the game.
I
And then
think
he gets to
that-
the end and he sits next to like just let's just Aaliyah like sits there and Aaliyah gives an impassioned speech on the voice chat. People are gonna give him because sometimes people don't vote on the best player. People vote who they like, who they connect with best on an emotional level.
I think Taylor Ryan's gonna make it to the finale. Okay, I also think, but maybe I'm telling you, this is my situation. They need to get Camille out before Camille destroys all of them.
Yeah,
That's
Camille's a
All
problem.
I gotta say about that. If they want to make it to the end, they need to get Camille out.
I want to push back on you, Styles, a little bit because I think that Daly people had growing animosity towards Daly throughout the entire second half of that season, especially as they were going out. I think Taylor Ryan is smart enough to not burn every single bridge
Agreed.
and put him into that position where Daly found himself.
Daly had
I
the
think If he wants to be aggressive, he's gonna have to burn some bridges.
You know, people say I'm going to play the game like this, but we all have our like natural way that we play, and it's sometimes hard to shift away from that. And I
Yeah.
just don't see Taylor Ryan as someone who's going to be backstabbing left and right, blood
Well-
flying everywhere.
Well, the original Taylor Ryan was that way.
Interesting.
Okay.
I've never seen him. I've never met him.
So
Now we're definitely getting a new Taylor Ryan. Taylor Ryan has been a fucking delight.
the BBTG Taylor Ryan,
The BBTG is a different
he
story.
was the OG Snake. All right.
the OG.
And then he
snake.
changed. You know, he became friends with people, so he started getting a soul.
The thing is, you have to remember, BBTG players, a lot of them don't know what they're doing, so it's easier to snake them.
Well, no, I 100% agree. I think I hope he makes it far, and I hope I want him to be in my top 3. I want him to be up there.
I
Sarah,
think he's
can you
going
tell
to the
me-
finals.
Are we doing our predictions? Because I want to be here for this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, any final thoughts on Wahahi?
No.
Um,
That's it for me.
Well, before we do final predictions, I want to do a quick tally of advantages. Who has what, and how are we expecting them to play it?
First World War Challenge winner was Gage. Gage went to Island, I want to say 6. I
It
believe
was 6, yeah.
yeah. And was successful. He had the challenge task, so he completed it. He was set, and he got a burner vote. So burner vote, Gage. He said that he wants to keep that in his pocket. He wants to use it later down the line. He had the opportunity to. Oh, hi, Shadow.
I know that is not. Like, hold on.
He had the opportunity to use it. And I think he almost did, but he stopped himself for the vote that ended up going in his favor anyway
Good
when
move.
Denson lost. So I think he showed great control there. Abby got the second one, which was a reveal a vote. And
Didn't she get the steal a vote? Ben got the reveal vote, or am I tripping?
they both there's 2 reveal votes.
Oh, they both got it. Okay, cool. I could have
Um,
sworn it was a steal a vote for Abby. I could have sworn, unless I don't know. Maybe I'm
that's
just.
correct.
I am. I was gonna say maybe I'm like maybe I
Yeah.
drank too
Thousands
much
on
Hennessy
it.
before the
Thousands
stream.
so
But
on it.
I mean I'm not as on it as I was probably
But
like
I
season
mean,
2.
as we know, Abby is not here anymore, which
Yeah, very unfortunate.
very, very proud of them for being able to prioritize their mental health and say, hey, this is a lot, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much Northern Lights is. We're a fucking lot.
It is
So
a full-time job.
yeah, so snaps for them for being able to just be like, hey, like this is fun, but like also not.
Yeah.
Abby was a very vital player in that tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Abby
whole
was a
different
very
tribe now. I think it changes the dynamics in that tribe because
Abby was very vital in Jinihanga.
And with the advantage and just the overall number was an
Yeah.
enormous loss for the people that they were aligned with. But
yeah,
you gotta put yourself first. So you gotta
you gotta
understand
move
and respect.
forward. And
But
yeah,
I'm here for my final 3 prediction because I got this written down.
I'm
Yeah, same.
here for the final 3, and then I'm here for this eviction coming up in 23 minutes.
Number
Oh
1.
yeah, baby. I'm ready.
Number 1, my baby Virgo is making it. Number 2, I think Camille's getting there with her.
I think so too.
Number 3, now this is where I'm unsure, but I think somehow, some way, Ash will end up there as well. I think that she's so well in the middle. She's loved by Trey. She's loved by Camille. She's gonna somehow be okay. Slide her way in there.
Okay. Styles, predictions.
So as my winner, I have Ben. And I don't think that Ben will be taken to the end. I think Ben will win a bunch of challenges at the end and get to the probably 3 or 4 immunities in a row and immunity his way to the end. He'll be a big target. I think that Taylor Ryan's going to sit there, and I think Taylor Ryan's not going to win, unfortunately. And I think that the 3rd spot is definitely up for grabs. My preseason winner pick, I will let you guys know, it's not my. I don't think this person's going to win now, unfortunately. But Courtney was my preseason winner pick. I still think that if she goes far, she has a lot of longevity and a chance to be brought to the end as a foreseen GOAT, but could win. Very likable person. But I actually do think that Ash is going to get there too. I think Ash will be the 3rd. I think Ash will actually be in contention to win as well. But we'll see. I think Ben is going to win the game, though. And I think Ben is going to be extremely likable, have some big moves on their resume, and then a bunch of immunities at the end. That's my prediction.
Cesar.
I agree with Brian. I think Camille's gonna make it there. Again, I don't know why I see the future already with that one. And he's gonna get rid of all those people. And I do think Virgo will be there as well. But unlike everybody, I actually think, see, I had a premonition, okay? But then I was like, no, that can't be true. Because I saw Haley for some reason. I don't know what happened. Okay. But I'm going to give it to either TR or Trey up there.
Okay. I am going to mention someone that hasn't been mentioned yet. I think Adib has a lot of potential.
I like it. I like that pick.
I don't know. I just something about him is just so like I would want to work with him. You know what I mean? Like a
He
lot of
was
times,
very-
like,
I
I'm
agree.
in these voice chats or I'm in their DRs or I'm in their whatever, and I'm like, is this someone that I would want to work with? Yes or no? And I'm like, I would 1000% want to work with Adib. And
Yeah,
then
I mean, his character.
I would love Virgo to be at the end, but my winner pick is TR.
I think TR's gonna make it too. You know what? I think TR. I don't know if he's my winner pick, but I think Camille, TR, probably Virgo will be there.
I think that Virgo will be a fallen angel, and what I mean by that is someone that goes home fourth or fifth.
I kind of, you know what? The more and more we talk about it, you know
Don't
what?
jinx my baby.
I think
She's
Virgo's going to be a
so-
huge target. I think
She's
Virgo's
so
so like
personable, and
Yeah.
everyone is gonna want to work because she's just so
She's
like
genuine.
she's like an Aaliyah, where it's like she just like I am drawn to her. I'm not even playing, and I'm like, I'll work with you.
Her social game is incredible. I
Wait,
think.
you know what? I take it back. All right. I forgot to mention, I think Jacob will make it. I don't think Trey will. I think Jacob will.
I could see Jacob. I could see Jacob. Yeah,
I would love that. I would love to see
Jacob
I
that.
think
over
Jacob will make it.
would be. Yeah, but Jacob is like I said. I just want to point out this is his first ever game. Jacob finding his agency, being able to connect with virtually everyone. He's incredible. He's going to be a great player in this community if he stays in it.
Okay, those are my top four. Okay, four. Virgo, Camille, TR, and Jacob.
We all have some similar picks for sure, but we'll have to see how it shakes out because we have a tribe swap coming up, and then
Yeah.
shit's gonna. Who knows what's gonna happen?
A lot of shit's going to hit the fan. I
Yeah.
can actually promise you guys that shit is going to hit the fan.
Yeah,
Maybe
So-
not Virgo. Maybe not Virgo.
I think Virgo's going to be a big threat, man. I think Virgo's going to be seen as someone that can win the game by these people. Because
I do
she's going to
too.
make
I do
some
too.
I think she's going to make some moves, and she's going to be one of the most likable people.
So we will be back next week, which these are always dropping at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next week
Yep.
All right.
for more
Wait.
Northern Lights Rewind, and I think
Wait,
today
wait.
is like a whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh yeah, well no, we can talk about it, but yeah, this eviction should be fun. This eviction's coming out. It should be a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Blindside number 2. Bye.
Yeah, a little sneak preview. Gonna be crazy.
Shadow.